Today's episode is sponsored by Podbean. Do you feel like you have something to say?
I don't.
Do you want the world to hear your voice?
I do.
Are you interested in trying podcasting? Well, then Podbean's for you. Right now, get your first month free by going to podbean.com/catalyst. You'll get your first month free on the easiest, most affordable option to get started in podcasting. Choose Podbean.
Wow.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Ooh. That's a good one.
Hey, Catalyst crew. Welcome to Catalyst Corner, episode 37. It's Friday, so we've got Partially Proficient on with us, and, yeah, let's get into it. How you doing, Paul?
Doing good, actually.
Good.
Doing real good.
Good in the neighborhood?
Yeah, you know, I'm financially in ruins, got a lot of stuff going on in life
Like
recently.
most of us, I think.
Yeah. So, you know, it just puts me on the level of most of society.
Yeah. What are we drinking today?
Oh, Branch and Blade again.
You know I love them. Up in Keene, New Hampshire.
What is dead may never die.
That's right.
Oh.
How is it?
This is good.
Let me give it a
One of
taste.
our ones.
Oh, another home run.
Yeah.
I cannot get enough of their stuff.
Yeah, they're very, very good.
If you're in the New England area, they're up in Keene, New Hampshire. You can probably get it in most, specialty shops, but Branch and Blade, they do a phenomenal job. They have some delicious sours. Just everything I've had from them is great.
As someone who goes beyond what would probably be considered a healthy amount of alcohol consumption, I wholeheartedly give them my endorsement.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, I thought we would start today. I wanted to, I remember back like episode 5, we talked about things that kind of enrage me. Talked about milk at dinner.
Yeah. Your pet peeves, all that.
So I wanted to talk about something that happened the other day.
Okay.
So, as you know, and I'm pretty open about it, I have to go to the therapy.
Yeah. Well, look, you got stuff going on. We all do.
Yeah,
so that's normal.
Listen, I'm a lunatic. I've accepted.
Yeah, you're a total fucking psycho.
Right, I say it on here calmly so people are like, oh, he's full of shit. No, I'm crazy.
Let's put a quick disclaimer. There's a few people we're going to talk about later. You're not that kind of psycho. You're
No.
like,
It's a different flavor.
Yeah. It's definitely more
It's a
like
different
self-contained.
flavor. Exactly. So I get to the joint, right?
Yep.
And you know how my time is. Like, it's very hard to find 10 minutes.
Yeah, you wrap yourself up in your work.
Right. So I've tried to be better about it. That's all part of the therapy and stuff, is trying to carve some time for me.
Yep.
But having to drive to therapy instead of doing it online is a pain in the ass for me.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Right.
You have to leave the house.
How dare they? So I get there, right? And I'm already just slightly annoyed that I have to be there in the first place, right?
Yep, you're already in that mindset.
Right,
It's already
bit.
you're already inconvenienced.
Like, I'm okay.
It's just to get it over with.
Right. I'm okay. I'm like, but it's part of the checklist. It's a chore.
Right.
The woman in front of me is checking out of her appointment.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Sure, it's a required part of the process.
Right. It took her 15 minutes to check out.
Well, that's just unreasonable. That's an extended period of time.
I thought the vein in my forehead was going to explode.
As funny as I can picture it on you.
Well,
it's like, here's the thing.
But I'm in the moment, so like I don't want to appear too angry looking, but I'm like internally I'm screaming.
Okay.
But a queue is forming because of this. It's not just me. Like, I'm not the only one being inconvenienced by this.
No, this person's inconsiderate. They're an asshole.
Right. And I'm standing there just going like, how the fuck you don't value your time at all?
Yeah.
You're
like,
talking about nothing.
A lot of other people have things they got to do that day.
Right.
And they're being held up because you want to have like a full conversation.
Like I have the narcissistic thought, right, where it's just like you're holding me up. And then I see a queue form.
Me, the chosen one.
Right, the god of the universe.
Yeah.
No, but I'm, that's obviously the first thought is this is a pain in the ass. I got shit.
Sure,
I gotta do.
I think that's human. We all,
But
look
then
at
I see that
ourselves
there's a
first.
queue forming, and I start in the moment I'm doing, and you know me, usually I have a slow processing speed, but in the moment I'm going, this person is holding up not just myself, but an entire queue of people.
Right.
How can you be so inconsiderate?
It's either a lack of awareness. I don't know.
So then she
or maybe
goes-
they're just genuinely an asshole.
She does the 15 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And then, she has to make another appointment. And she goes, the front desk associate goes, would you like a card as a reminder? They write the card down sometimes.
Yeah.
And the woman goes, no, I'm going to put it in my phone. And I'm thinking like, oh, perfect. At least she understands technology enough to fuck off.
Yep.
No. She's going to stand there.
At the front of the line and put it in her phone.
Yeah, and put it. And she's not technically savvy enough to do it quickly.
There should be camps for people like this.
Dude. And then I have to go to therapy. And the fucking guy's like, you seem a little perturbed today. And I'm like, oh, is it showing?
Unreal. All right. You talked about your shit. I'll talk about
you got one? All right.
Yeah. So I was talking to you a little bit about this before we start recording.
Yeah.
But look, I think everyone right now, nowadays, most people are in financial straits.
It's tough, man.
Income is going up very slowly, and the cost of everything is going up
Eggs are up
rapidly.
65%.
Feels real good to be one of those people with chickens at home.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
could probably make a mint.
Yeah, that's going to have to be what happens soon enough with the way things are going.
65%, like that, you don't see markups like that.
You do nowadays. And that's the problem. So I'm struggling as much as anyone else, I'd say, nowadays.
Sure.
And my younger sister, she gotten proposed to. She has a boyfriend from Sweden, or I guess fiance now.
Yeah, very worldly
accepted.
family, yours.
Yeah, and so, I'm excited for her. He's a good kid. She's a good kid.
Yeah, pretty intelligent.
They planned a wedding 6 months out.
Not that smart.
Yeah. Rough. And here's the thing.
Yeah, but he's from Sweden. It's different.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. They don't worry about that shit.
It's in Italy. So now
What?
I got the kid. I got my wife. It's going to be a whole affair to
How
get
does
there.
that why Italy? Because it's the romance capital of the world.
Well, yeah, and I don't think it's that much of a burden on them.
Yeah,
because
if you live in Europe,
to Europe
it's
is
not. It's like
much.
if we had to go to Ohio.
Right.
Oh my god!
And get this. So
Yeah.
my wife, her twin sister is also getting married. Another European wedding.
What's going on with you right now?
Dude, I'm not making these calls.
Branching off into the EU.
So, I'm just going to be completely flat broke
Yeah,
this
you're
year.
gonna have no money. So you
Just
have to go to
drained
Europe
on
twice.
Yeah, but none of it is to sightsee or have fun. It's all fly in, get it done, fly out. Here's the best possible part of it is
Yeah.
that I'll probably only have to buy one suit.
Yeah, you can get away with that. But what's interesting is when I was doing conventions and stuff for the weed,
Yeah.
people hear it and they're like, "Oh, that's so exciting! You get to travel for work." I'm like, I go to a fucking hotel room,
Yeah.
then I go to the convention center,
Right.
and then I leave.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking
It's
sightseeing.
not it's not a whole glamorous ordeal.
No, it's dude, and I'm up for 3 days before getting ready. It sucked.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're going. That's what
Yeah.
you're in for.
I've
Except
got
your
no money.
flight is 12.
You're losing your mind at people at the front of the line. Yeah, it's good.
Hold on, I didn't say a word to her.
No, you're losing your mind internally. Like I said, your stuff's very
The reason
self-contained.
I brought it up is I'm curious from our listeners. Does that bother you? If someone is holding up an entire queue, right? Does that bother you?
I think you'd have to be crazy not to have that bother you, to be honest.
It's just, I don't know. The way that I view time, right, is it's a currency.
Right.
And so you're forcing me to spend my currency because you don't care about spending yours.
Yeah.
But let me know, you guys. I am curious.
Yeah, we'll get into the actual topics that day.
I just wanted to, point out that I am still a psycho.
Well, yeah, and speaking of which, as a psycho,
Yeah.
you've been watching this little-known show. I think it's very popular, though, for what it is. Velma?
Yeah, you were kind of perturbed at me because you reached out and I didn't answer you and you were like, "Where the fuck are you?"
Oh yeah. I was like,
"Hey man, I've been just binging Velma."
like an animal.
Look, here's the thing.
Sure.
Jim F0123 Art and I go pretty hard on what you would call the woke shows of the day.
Sure, okay.
And the only way I feel that I can honestly, shit on them is if I actually sit and watch them.
I mean, that's fair of you. Good for you. I guess that's noble in its own way.
Well, it's not about the fact that they're woke. It's about the fact that they are terrible shows.
Right. Okay.
They just all happen to be woke. I don't know if there's a correlation there.
Well, here's what my takeaway has been.
Sure.
Is that if you put so much effort into making a message of the show,
the message is first.
That's effort that's not going into actually making the show enjoyable.
Right. So what happens with these shows is it's about the message, not the story.
Right.
And I'm not going in for the message. I agree with diversity and inclusion.
Right. I hope we've made it clear
I'm on that team. So I don't need the fucking lecture.
Right.
So the problem with Velma, aside from the typical woke bullshit of it just being a complete bastardization of the source material.
Sure.
Right? She is the most insufferable character to date. She's an asshole.
Yeah?
Let me give you some examples.
Okay, yeah. Let me hear from someone who's actually watched the show.
So one of the themes of the show is that her mother ran away or mysteriously vanished.
Oh,
right.
I see.
And it starts with her going, "Well, Mom loved us. She would never run away." And her father's like, "No, she bailed." And then she has a flash.
It's a mystery.
Right.
Dude.
She's like, "But she loved us." Then she has a flashback of how shitty of a daughter she was. And she goes, "Oh, we were jerks." Well, I can't feel guilty about this anymore. And I'm going like...
Oh, it was like 1 second.
That's your message, though, is that you drove your mother away, so you're not going to feel guilty about it. Maybe change who you are as a fucking person.
Yeah, all
She
right.
eats out of the trash.
Huh.
Just like
That's just surprising.
For no reason. Like there's like a French fry in the trash and she eats it. Why not?
She's just like a gross person.
She's a garbage human. So Fred, Fred is
keep going.
he's the white man in the show.
I'm still processing that first thing, but okay. Yeah,
he's
go
the
ahead.
white man in the show. So he's got the tiny penis, and they make a lot of jokes about his tiny little penis.
Yeah, that's primarily what us white men are known for.
Right, and he's the butt of 90% of the jokes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. So then Daphne is, I guess she's Asian in this.
I was going to say, though, look, going in, we should have expected Fred is going to just be that punching bag.
Right. Yeah, sort of. And then Shaggy, who they did a race swap with him, which is fine. It's whatever.
Sure.
But here's what they do is they make jokes like this. I would never do drugs. I'm not into 420 culture at all. And it's like, Shaggy's a stoner.
Yeah, that character has always been a stoner.
Right. So, like, you think it's funny to make him straight edge? No.
Yeah, that's the joke, I guess.
So he's in love with Velma.
Okay.
And
because of all of her winning personality traits, like eating in the garbage.
Right. She's a gorgeous human being. She's got the body of a goddess. She's got the personality to match.
Yep.
Right.
Why wouldn't he be?
Right. And he tells her, because she has these hallucinations that cause, I guess, heart palpitations that could lead to a heart attack or something. That's
okay, so she's
point.
physically very unwell and she's mentally unwell.
Yeah. So he tells her that he...
Jesus Christ, she's a winning package.
Yeah, it's an awesome show. He tells her that he loves her, right?
Yep.
Well, she's having a hallucination. She's going to have a heart attack, and he tells her. And then she starts laughing.
Yep.
And she goes, "Oh, you're so funny. Oh, my goodness. I could never,
Wow.
That's so good. You're such a goofball. And he's like, you're the reason I get up in the morning. And she laughs even harder.
That's generally a good way to respond to someone pouring their heart out.
Just to be clear, this is our main character.
This is the protagonist, yeah.
So then, Daphne is hanging around too.
Sure.
They made her Asian, which is, again, fine. Who cares about all that shit?
Okay. To veer off topic a little bit, but sort of stay on it, there's been very recent iterations of Velma being Hispanic and Asian.
Yeah, I don't care about the race swap shit. I don't care about the sex swap either. Like, they made Constantine a chick in Sandman.
Yeah.
But it's Constantine.
Right. But no one raised a stink about either of those iterations of Velma.
Yeah,
because
no one made a peep about Wednesday being Spanish either.
People don't care about that. They care about the character being totally bastardized, as you put it before.
Not even just bastardized, though. Your character sucks as a human.
Yeah.
To the point where she steals Daphne's journal.
Right.
And shares it at an assembly with the entire school.
Okay.
Right? And it's just, it's just one of the journal entries she decides to go with is, I've been meeting with my guidance counselor a lot because I'm having a tough time.
Yeah.
And her thing is, see, Daphne's not perfect. She's got mental health issues. In the hopes that she would become less popular.
Yeah, I'm going to try to cut down someone.
Right.
By stealing their personal, private, thoughts and feelings.
Yep.
And share it in a public forum.
Right.
Because I'm the good guy.
Right. I'm the hero of this story. So, in any case, the entire assembly goes, mental health isn't a joke. You're a fucking jerk.
Yeah.
So it's like even the fucking...
So the writers know that they're making this character a huge asshole.
Right. So there's a couple theories going around.
I think I've heard one of them, and I agree with it.
One of them is that it's written... they didn't have anything anyway.
Okay.
So they've written it so poorly that people will hate watch. They've taken everything that enrages people and thrown it into this so that they'll hate watch it.
That's the theory I've heard, and honestly, I think that's probably the truth.
That would be my assumption, too.
Because there's just a part of people that has to look. It's the
car
accident, right? You have to see, now, it's fascinating in a morbid sense.
There are ripple effects to this, though.
Yeah.
Because people are calling out Mindy Kaling now.
Really?
And they're saying, this is the most low-effort thing we've ever seen. Your career's kind of bullshit, huh?
Oh,
because they're going back and looking at their other shit, too, now because of this.
Wow.
And they're seeing this pattern of, you just self-insert yourself into every role you play, and you're kind of a shithead.
They're just going after her, huh?
Yeah. And I think it's deserved. I mean, if you're that much of a fucking asshole, even if it's overly exaggerated because it's a cartoon and shit, they attack 90% of the jokes are meta humor, which is too much.
Just attacking,
it's just meta humor. It'll be when it starts, right?
Oh, you know what? I've seen some stuff about this. They're joking, oh, if this is a rom-com, this is what we do, but we're not going to do this because it's not. Yeah, okay.
So that just continues through the show.
Yeah.
And with meta humor, if you do it a little bit, it can be funny.
Yeah.
But when you do it...
when it's the joke.
Right. It almost feels like you think your audience is stupid because you just are over-explaining everything.
Fair enough. To go back to the theory that it's a rage bait show.
Yeah.
And how successful those can be. I guess I heard recently that the most viewed show on Netflix in the last month was The Witcher Blood Origin.
Good for them. But I wanted to talk to you about this. The CEO had to step down.
Really?
The guy who's been in charge, Reed Hastings, is a co-CEO. He started the company.
No kidding.
He's been CEO since 1999, and because of all of this bullshit, he had to step down.
That's insane.
I mean, they were banking on The Witcher being a years-long franchise.
Wow.
Akin to, like,
Your Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. But it does prove something about hate watching.
Sure, but I mean, I think it's a very short-term...
Right.
You know...
It has to be these very pump and dump. Look, they've said Velma Season 2. Will that actually happen, though? I don't know.
I would be surprised. Because the problem is this, is that you can get, like... listen, you can get people to watch Witcher Blood Origins because it's such a dumpster fire, but you can't get people to watch Witcher Blood Origins Season 2.
That's what I think, is...
Because we already know it's a dumpster fire.
One season. Right. So if you want to pump and dump hate watch seasons of shows, maybe that's a successful tactic. It makes you a shitty company, but...
Right. And listen, all of this shit, they're doing it with established franchises, so it's bizarre.
It is. And again, I think people have said this to death too, but it's just attaching a recognizable brand.
Yeah.
Because that draws eyes. They don't have to give a shit about the characters. And by disrespecting the characters, they can draw a hate-watching audience.
The truth of it is, though, if you stop watching, they'll go away.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So what's your fucking excuse, Evan?
I sail the seas.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not.
Good.
I'm not rewarding that. I'll be a criminal.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I appreciate that.
I subscribe too. Like I'm giving them the money, but I won't give them the view. I won't give them the view. Fuck.
Good.
Fuck both of them. Ah. Awful.
All right, let's move off of Velma.
Yeah.
It's been a lot on that. It's definitely been a source of vitriol for a lot of people.
Yeah, let's talk about a little bit of... I wanted to cover something, because last episode we were talking about kind of CoffeeZilla with the Logan Paul thing.
Yeah.
We had mentioned Channel 5 is a great...
Yeah, he's a great journalist and all that.
He is a great journalist.
I know where you're going.
So...
Hit me with it.
There's been some... people coming out stating that he's...
So, hold on, let me preface this real fast.
Sure.
I know there's some news about Andrew Callahan.
Yeah.
Solely because I saw that there was a posted apology that he had issued.
It's a good apology.
I haven't even watched it.
It seems sincere.
I imagine he's done something, which is upsetting because, again, we've really touted him as a journalist.
Like this. It's the most... So he's been accused by multiple women of not so much SA, right?
Okay.
But, like, being very forceful and using his, like, the power dynamic or something to kind of get what he wants, right?
That's pretty scummy.
Right. So, like, real scummy. Now, there's enough women that have, like, here's the thing, is that, like, with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, right?
Right.
That's one person. No one else came forward. You got to kind of look at it like, you might be full of shit.
It's a he says, she says situation.
Right. But when multiple women come forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Right. Like, even if it's 5 and one of them is lying, it's still 4.
Right. Exactly.
So it's like, okay, so multiple women have come forward. There's DMs and text messages that they share with the media to back it all up.
Damn.
Yeah. So, again, he didn't essay...
Shame on you, Andrew.
He didn't essay anybody, but he still did something egregious, right?
Yeah, that's still completely unacceptable. Shame on you, Andrew.
So he apologized.
I had faith in you.
He apologized, and he said he's going to take a break and try to work on himself, go to therapy and everything. And I thought owning it was better, and he said there are some allegations that aren't true, but there are some that are. And he said to the people coming forward, he was like, thank you for coming forward. It's incredibly brave of you to do that.
Okay.
You never hear that shit.
Sure. Okay.
So I hope he gets the help that he needs.
Sure. Yeah.
And can become a better person. And, if he can do that, people fuck up. Sure.
That's a pretty egregious way to fuck up.
Sort of. I mean, he didn't, again, it was just, I can understand it if no one, showed you the right way and you just are left to your own devices.
I guess so, yeah.
And again, he didn't do He didn't essay anybody.
Right.
And I'm not apologizing for him. That motherfucker
Sure.
needs help. But if he's willing to get it, and make recompense with the victims and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a
That's not a Cosby level
there's
crime.
a merit to recognizing your failures, your mistakes, and growing as a person, getting better, and making amends.
Right. I'm very willing to forgive someone like that.
Sure. I hope that we see better things out of him in the future, and
I hope he
does
gets the help he
what's
needs
good.
as a start and then moves from there, you know?
So,
Now,
yeah.
you a big fan of Rick and Morty?
So, okay. Again, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I'll say that, I'm hit or miss on the show.
The fans
if
are
it's
awful.
on, I'll watch it. If not, that's fine by me.
I haven't watched it in a while. I mean, I think I'm three seasons behind at this point.
Yeah, I don't watch the show like religiously.
It's what
at all.
it is it's one of those things where the fans ruined it.
Well, you know who else ruined it?
Well, yeah. I mean, so one of the co-creator, obviously Dan Harmon is one of the creators of the show.
Yep.
The other creator, Justin Roiland,
Yeah.
is in a little bit of hot water, and by a little bit I mean a lot of it.
Oh, and what's that for?
He's been arrested, or maybe he's not arrested. Who the fuck knows? You can never
Sure.
tell with the media. Apparently, allegedly, he's facing felony charges
Oh, serious?
for domestic violence,
Okay.
false imprisonment,
Yeah, of course. Who hasn't?
and grooming a minor. Who hasn't? Something you just do.
Yeah, it happens.
And grooming a minor.
Well, I'm not gonna say the same for that one.
And so it's kind of coming out that he's he's been a mess for years. Like he just drinks and drinks, and like he's just a flaming train wreck.
Wow. Yeah, no.
So if he goes away, I assume the show is dead at that point.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not real up on this. Is he not the voices of both Rick and Morty?
Yeah, he does the voices of both.
Yeah.
He doesn't really write anymore.
It seems to me that the show would be dead in the water without him.
Right. And it's a huge show for Cartoon Network or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely a moneymaker. It's been one of their flagships for years.
Right. So that'll kind of be interesting to see. I don't think it'll be a huge tragedy if it goes away.
No.
I mean,
no.
I won't miss it.
I think it's already kind of sailed its course. And
Right, it had its gimmick. It was, it was decent when it first came out. It was different. There wasn't a lot of that type of shit. But again, the market's saturated.
The gag is played out at this point. And okay, they made 3 shows that are identical to it.
Right. So once the market becomes saturated, right?
Right.
It's done.
They actually just made the game too, didn't they?
I played it. Here's the thing. Graphically, it's very impressive.
Okay.
Because it's a AA studio. It's not AAA.
Sure.
It is just him doing the voices on all the weapons. It gets super old. So much so that there's an option where you can turn off the talking guns.
What I felt about the show, pretty much.
Right.
It's the same joke, and nowadays
the gameplay is fine. It's relatively decent. I was just curious because I always like to play AA games just because I think there's a lot of talent.
Sure, there's hidden stuff in there
from the developers and stuff. But so that's, I don't know. I mean, it just sucks that
I think it's going to leave a sour taste in people's mouth. I mean, look, a lot of people just finished that game, and now they're like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
By the way, this guy is fucking on
all
trial.
All of your guns were sexual predators.
Yeah. Surprise!
Gotcha.
I mean, it's a very Rick and Morty thing to do, I guess.
Wubba lubba dub dub. He got us with that one.
Oh, life imitating art.
Damn him.
Life.
Oh, wow. Were we monsters for laughing at that?
I don't know. I got one more for you.
Oh, you got another one? Jesus
one more.
Christ. There's so many.
Yeah, I'll go
Hit
quick
me with
on this one. You remember last week I was talking to you about the G4 revival?
Yes, I do remember
and,
that.
Indiana Frost Black was basically had that meltdown. I
Yeah.
showed it to you after the episode.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. Afterwards, you educated me on the topic thoroughly. You're like, look,
What did you think?
Very Clockwork Orange
pretty
of you.
insane, though, right?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was
It's basically her just being like,
Yeah.
fuck our viewers.
It was such a meltdown.
Yeah, very angry
Crazy,
person.
crazy.
So she tweeted and basically said, I'm leaving the gaming industry. Some of my closest allies didn't defend me.
Yeah, yeah. You show me the tweet as well, and it was crazy to me because it was such a. I thought all of these people were my friends, and none of them put themselves on the chopping block to defend me after I was a complete asshole. So I'm done. I'm leaving. I guess they're actually bad people, and I'm the only one who's right.
She was in an echo chamber to begin with,
Yeah.
right? And the fact that everyone in the room was clapping,
Yeah.
but everyone outside of the room was like, are you a fucking lunatic?
Right.
I don't think she's leaving. I don't think anyone wants to hire her in the gaming industry at this point.
I know.
Esports right now is tight, right? Like
Yep.
they've really cut back on everything.
Yep.
So that would be her only avenue at this point.
Well, yeah, but that's still in the gaming.
No, I'm saying like normally if things weren't the way they are right now, she could probably jump into like an esports role.
Oh, sure. Commentator,
or whatever it is,
caster,
right?
something.
Right.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
No.
And so, like,
Not for
people
you,
no,
Frosk.
people look at her and go, "You shut down a
Right.
TV channel."
You're toxic. You're literally
Right.
a cancer on what you touch.
Because the thing about her is, she's not even worth hate watching.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, some people are just train wrecks. You
she's
can't
not-
look away.
Okay. So to cast it back to Velma, that's something that's so like infused with like toxicity, and it's supposed to make you mad throughout, and that's why people hate watch it.
Right.
She's not that way. She's mostly just boring.
Right.
And then
right. She's
every now
she's
and
like
again.
the Rings of Power. She's very boring, and every now and then there's like a little bit of hate.
Right. And then she'll do something where like, oh, damn you.
Frosk is the human embodiment of Rings of Power. Oh my god.
Wow, yeah, it's weird how well that works in my head. Like, I can connect that very
right?
deeply.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from shitheads.
Okay. So, you know what? I think Frosk may have gotten a new job.
Yeah, where'd she go?
A small independent company called Wizards of the Coast.
Fuck them. Let me just start with that.
Unreal. Okay. I'm sure this is something. I don't think I've ever said anything to our viewership. Maybe if you watch my TikToks, you know I'm into tabletop gaming a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been into Dungeons and Dragons since I was a little 10-year-old boy.
Bit of a lifer.
Over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time D&D guy.
Just to be clear, before we get into this, Wizards of the Coast basically owns Magic,
Yep, Magic the Gathering,
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, yeah.
And so, they started as like a card company, and now they just own these huge franchises.
Right. They are apparently 71% of Hasbro's profits.
Right, and they're owned by Hasbro.
Right. Yeah, they're huge.
Right, because, I imagine the other 30% is My Little Pony.
Yeah, probably.
So there's Wizards of the Coast and the Bronies.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, okay.
Yeah.
To jump back.
Yeah.
When I was a little 10-year-old boy,
Yeah,
I was
young-
starting
young-
out 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Little young tyke.
Yeah, you're just a young man. They introduced something that was considered revolutionary and caused exponential growth in the tabletop gaming, tabletop RPG genre, which is called the Open Game License,
The OGL.
the OGL.
Very, very much in the spirit of Gary Gygax.
Gygas, yeah.
I'm getting nerd checked here.
Don't you fucking talk to
That's
me
how
like
much
that,
he loves it.
pussy.
All I'm saying is that if you look at the creation of Dungeons and Dragons,
Sure.
very much in the spirit of it.
Right. It allowed third-party publishers and creators to take the core mechanics of Dungeons and Dragons and create new content for their own use for... how do I put this?
It was
it allowed the
basically-
community
right,
to
it gave you a
create.
skeleton to play a game, but then it kind of allowed you to write your own story.
Right. To write your own story, to write your own rules, to write your own settings based off Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Without stealing from its identity, but building upon it.
Right. And some of
And-
the stuff that's been written has become lore.
Iconic. And I mean, that spawned things like Pathfinder.
Right.
From Paizo.
Yep.
Which is, Dungeons and Dragons' #1 competitor nowadays.
And
It's
gaining
insane.
popularity after this
Yeah,
fiasco.
especially after this. So, okay, to get to the point, the open game license is potentially going to be updated by Wizards of the Coast.
Right.
They want to release a open OGL 2.0.
That's what they're calling it.
Yeah, and it's not good.
No.
Basically, they want to be able to, or initially, at this point, they've, retreated a lot. But initially, they wanted to be able to gain royalties off of anything created by anyone using the OGL. It would have abolished the original OGL.
Right.
It would.
Basically, they own the property or whatever.
Right. They could say no or shut things down at a moment's notice.
They could take it without paying royalties.
Right. It was abominable. It was bad.
It was typical 2023 corporate bullshit.
Right.
It's greed.
This short-sighted, let's just get as much as we can in as short a time period as possible.
Right. It's
sort
the
of
hate-watching mentality.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was very, very bad.
So people are arguing that Critical Role is really the reason why they kind of started even looking at this.
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, well, just because the Critical Role has turned into a
Very,
multi-million
very
dollar
profitable.
empire.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that makes sense.
Apparently, that's what caused the spark of them going well, we could just take money from these people.
Yeah, we should just be taxing them.
Right.
Wow, psychos.
I struggle with all of this shit these days because as someone that does art, right, and
Right.
is very passionate about pop culture, it would be one thing if, the original creators own the IP and they were, these are just suits that
Yeah,
don't have
seriously.
they don't have a creative bone in their body. They didn't make anything. They just bought a fucking piece of paper that says, "Oh, it's yours."
The new lead on Wizards of the Coast, I believe, is a video game developer who became the lead within the last 2 years.
Right. So someone
He
who has no idea.
literally doesn't care.
No idea how this right, but it's just disgusting.
It is. It's bad.
And what ends up
It's
happening
really
is
upsetting.
you have your fan base, right?
Yep.
And you kind of you I don't even know what the right word is. But you separate the property from the fan base,
Right.
thinking that you're going to make more money, and then the fan base stops buying all of your shit because go eat a fucking dick.
Right. Fuck you. I don't want that. And that's exactly what happened. So there was a whole bunch of leaked info from
Yeah, like emails came out and
insiders,
shit.
like Wizard of the Coast employees. And they basically said, hey, look, their main metric for tracking success is D&D Beyond subscriptions.
Right.
So let them know. And people were crashing the unsubscribe page.
Yeah, it they had a massive exodus.
It was huge. And so this finally caused Wizard of the Coast to buckle on it. They backtracked. We're sorry. Actually, we didn't mean what we said.
What they should, if they were good at it, because here's where it drives me crazy, right?
Right.
they're just doing business. That's just business as usual bullshit.
Right, sure.
If they were actually savvy in the business market, they would look at the fucking idiot that suggested that and go, get the fuck out.
Yeah, you're done.
You're a moron. This is not how 2023 works. Because people are broke.
Yep.
And the whole thing with the original OGL is it was that light at the end of the tunnel, that glimmer of hope that maybe you could create something that could elevate you.
Right. That would become a big thing.
A critical role.
A critical role. A pathfinder.
Right.
Which, to go on to them, Paizo Publishing has responded, and they have... they want to release their own open license.
Greta Thunberg of...
I'm trying to remember what it is. The ORC, the Open RPG Contract something.
Which is basically just like,
hey, use our stuff.
Right.
And
our shit's better. We're not going to take any money from you.
And they're like, yeah, this is going to be immutable and unchangeable forever.
Right.
Damn them. Damn Wizards of the Coast.
It's just that thing. And you know what? It carries over, right? It carries over to superhero shit. It carries over to video game shit. Like,
the greed is becoming unbelievable nowadays.
It's not just the greed. It's the greed and the arrogance and the ego.
Right.
Of we can do this better. Even though this has been working, now I'm here and I'm gonna change the game.
The open game license has stood for 20 plus years.
Right.
And they're
because there's a critical role in a pathfinder, they had a bunch of suits got together in their fucking office that nobody's in right now because nobody goes to fucking offices anymore.
Right.
And goes, you know what we should do? Let's piss off the entire fan base.
Yeah,
so we can make an extra couple $1 million
in the short term, and then absolutely kneecap us for the foreseeable future.
Right, they'll sell off D&D to the fucking Pathfinder folks.
Honestly, that might be the best possible outcome.
That would be the best outcome.
Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad as a lifelong fan.
It's just very frustrating because you see it everywhere, and it's like I cannot imagine who thought that was a good idea. The same people that released Morbius a second time. It's like that mentality.
It's that level of delusion.
Yeah.
Right. You don't understand what you've done or like...
You're so far removed from the your clients, basically.
Right.
Right? That you just... again, it's like theory versus reality, right? Yeah, it works in a textbook.
Sure. In a vacuum, I'm sure this is a really good business decision.
Right. And it's good to see that they got egg on their face, even though it's up 65%. But,
Oh, sad.
It's good to see that. Because fuck Wizards of the Coast.
Right.
What do you think's going to happen with that? You think they're going to change the OGL?
So... according to all their statements and everything, now they're like, oh, well, we want to be really collaborative with the community, and everything that we propose from now on will be, put out and play tested first. I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, they're going back to try to figure out how to write it up that it doesn't enrage the fan base.
Time will tell, but as it stands, the trust is broken.
I made a shirt.
Yeah, I know.
We were talking about it. I made a shirt, Adventures for Everyone, because you can't... Fuck you.
Right. It is for everyone. Look.
Gary would be rolling in his grave right now.
Yeah, for sure. Is rolling in his grave.
Not nat 20s, though.
No. Jesus Christ. All right.
All right, one more.
We've been real negative today. Let's
one more. So
bring it up.
I had possibly, the most vindicated experience of my... 2023 so far. What do you need?
Okay.
You need another...
This might be a 2-beer episode.
All right. Go grab...
Look, they're
listen,
too drinkable. They're very good. They're Branch and Blade.
They're tasty. Go grab one. Grab one, too. I'll go with you.
All right. I'll be right back.
All right. This episode is sponsored by Podbean. While Paul's getting the beers, if you're interested in starting your own podcast, the easiest, most affordable option to get started is Podbean. Go to podbean.com/catalyst and get your first month's free. I want to listen to what you guys have to say, so, start a podcast. All right, let's get back to this. Let's Let's get back. Now that I've done, my due diligence, now that I've sullied everything.
Or you're just absolutely selling out?
To be clear, though, we use Podbean.
Yeah, no, we do.
Yeah,
we do.
it's not, here's the thing.
Something,
is that,
something, NordVPN, whatever.
No, I use NordVPN, too, honestly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, okay. Let's get off it.
if advertisers really do start flowing in or whatever, I want it to be shit that we actually use. I don't want to be someone like fucking boner pills.
Well, I thought we weren't. We weren't using.
Yeah.
All right. Where were we?
So I was telling you I had one of the most vindicative experiences of my 2023 so far.
Yep.
You know me.
Ooh. Yep.
Ooh, a little crack. I love video games. Have since I was a small boy. I cheered as a child when I beat Ocarina of Time. Cheered.
Oh, it's one of the most satisfying
like
conclusions
of the night,
all
I
time.
beat it and I was like, I have beaten Zelda!
Yeah, you feel, oh my God, what a completing experience as a child.
Oh my God, it was so, like, I would give anything to have that feeling.
Yeah, I don't know that I felt that in a decade.
No, the only way you could do it is to harvest a child's adrenal gland and just...
It's the only way I know why the rich are doing it.
Yeah, that's it. So,
all right, go ahead. What were you saying? Vindicating experience, adrenal glands.
Yeah, since like the 90s, right? They've been trying to make video game movies.
Yeah, and I would argue that all of them are good.
Like master classes in cinema. I remember Prince of Persia with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
well, I get a Persian dude. Get a fucking, what is he, Dutch or something? Yeah.
Hey, even before then, the Street Fighter movie is a goddamn classic.
Yeah, but from a camp standpoint.
Yeah. All right.
Raul Julia's last movie.
Dying of Cancer, great film.
Yeah, stomach cancer, that sucked.
Yeah.
So I'd watch a lot. Ultimately, I think the Silent Hill movies are okay.
All right.
I think they're okay. They're not truly Silent Hill, but they're creepy enough. They hit like a certain vibe. I think they hit the tone.
Okay.
I don't like any of the Resident Evils.
Okay.
I don't. I think they're garbage. Even the ones where they're trying to be true to the source material, they're garbage.
I thought the Raccoon City one was okay.
It was too much. They did two episodes.
I agree. They did 3 games in one.
Right. That's too much.
I agree. But I thought it was better than the others.
It's closer. It's a step in the right direction.
Right. But, yeah, I get what you're saying. Generally speaking, pretty bad.
They never tell the stories.
Like, it was a Halo TV show recently was absolute garbage.
Not only did you see Master Chief's face, you saw his butt.
Often.
Like, it was not something we needed.
Not something you needed.
I would have liked to have seen his butt and not his face.
Yeah, okay. I can agree with that.
All right. As long as I don't have to see his face, you can show me his fucking dong waving in the wind, I'm good.
Yeah, it could be...
He's fighting the fucking Covenant
fully
with that.
Pornographic.
Yeah. Is he like banging alien women and shit?
Yeah,
too?
I like to think it's one of the elites, like one of them big old...
Warp.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Took the words out of my mouth.
It just enrages me because what I can't understand, and I'm an idiot, I know I am, but you have such a built-in fan base with these games.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Why would you not want to tap into that?
Yeah.
Like, I understand that you can't, like, video games are a certain medium, right?
Right, it's a different...
You have to add a little bit for your TV watcher.
Right.
Or your movie watcher, right?
Sure.
But why would you isolate the fans of the video game?
Right. In a weird sense, you just have to look the way comic books have done it, because that's a different medium too, and that's been adapted to shows and cinema very well.
Yep.
And it's mostly by staying very true to source material.
Right. You have typically a POV character that you can kind of...
your protagonist.
Someone who's not familiar with the world or something, so you can get the exposition you need.
Right.
And it's just bizarre to me, because they will just go off and tell these fucking random stories in the universe, which normally would be fine
Right.
But it's bizarre. So I've said this to you a million times. Once someone has the balls to actually release a video game show or movie that follows the source material, if it does well, that you have to look at that going forward and say, okay, video game writing is in fact legitimate writing.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I don't think Hollywood views it that way.
No, it's always been viewed as like some like child's endeavor, essentially.
So, last Sunday, HBO, even though they're guilty of
Developers of Velma,
yeah,
or producers rather,
released the first episode of the Last of Us TV show.
Oh.
Now I know you're not a huge fan of
the franchise overall,
right? Because you argue that the gameplay is not for you.
Sure, it's not my cup of tea. I know why it's a critical success, though.
Right. And from a storytelling perspective, even though it's been done before, it's not nothing original. It is very well told. Mm-hmm. You would agree?
Sure.
They did such a good job. There are scenes that they lifted right out of the game to the point where I had chills as I'm watching it.
I've heard that the reaction is incredibly positive.
Because
massively positive.
Here's what they did. They added certain things that aren't in the game that flesh out the universe a bit more and make it more palatable to a television audience.
Okay.
The exposition was a little on the nose with the fungi and everything. They had to explain at the beginning what it is. And it's like, but I'm going into it going like, that's fine.
That's expected.
As long as it's The Last of Us, right?
Yep.
Obviously Pedro Pascal's playing Joel.
Love Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Great.
Joel, now, here's my point. Joel's a white guy in the game from Texas, right?
Sure.
Pedro Pascal, obviously not a white dude.
Yep.
Nobody gives a fuck because he's awesome in the role.
He's the character.
He is. And his daughter is, who the person who played his daughter,
Spoiler alert.
Sarah, was, black.
Sure.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Couldn't matter less.
Because it was Sarah.
Yep.
And I would argue even that because they fleshed out Sarah's character a bit more.
Yep. Rough.
Even
the
worse.
way things go,
even worse. Now, I watched this with my partner.
Oh, really?
Who doesn't like this shit. Or maybe doesn't not, I shouldn't say it like that, but like wouldn't seek this out on her own.
Right.
She was so enthralled with it. She had to go on YouTube and watch not only The Last of Us Part 1.
Really?
The Last of Us Part 2.
Watch the whole thing, huh?
Because and again, I stayed around for the beginning of Last of Us Part 1 because I can't do 2. It's an emotion. It exhausts me emotionally.
And it's bad.
It's not bad.
Agree to disagree.
She sides with you though.
Yeah, because it's bad.
Well, if you don't buy into Abby, it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, because Abby's a terrible character, and Ellie's character falls apart in the second half. Whatever.
Well, Ellie's character becomes literally a psychopath.
Becomes a nonsensical.
It doesn't
bullshit.
matter. Listen,
Okay.
I don't want to argue about episode. Season 2 is years away. So
whatever
but
it is.
The case of it is this, right? Is that I rewatched the intro and like the first, up until where episode 1 ended of the HBO show. Mm-hmm. They are so true to the source material. They're lifting dialogue.
Wow, that's impressive.
The character that plays Marlene, who's the leader of the Fireflies,
right,
is the character that did the voice in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's incredibly faithful.
It's so good. Druckmann, I know you don't like him, but
Yeah, Cuckman.
He directed it, or not directed. He executive produced it.
Yeah.
And the guy who did the music did the music for the show.
Wow.
So it doesn't get any closer, right?
My gripes about the second part aside.
Right.
That is a recipe for success in creating a video game adaptation.
So the reason I was so excited for it is, do I think it's the best story in video games? No. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great story. I think it's up there.
Okay.
I don't think it's the best. But if I'm Amazon, right?
Right.
And I'm adapting God of War, which is arguably another behemoth.
Yeah, certainly.
Look at this. This has worked.
Right.
This has blown audiences out of the water. You have the fans going, we fucking love this, right?
Yep.
You have people who have never seen the show, like my partner, right? Never
Right.
would have sought it out, but you're true to the source material. I brought her in.
Yeah, and now she's all aboard.
Right. So it's just like, that's the fucking formula.
Right.
If you don't follow that formula, it won't work.
Right. At least not that well. To the point where this is getting massive critical acclaim.
I knew this was going to be good because they raised their prices before it dropped by $1 a month. And I was like,
wow.
okay, they nailed it.
No kidding.
They nailed it. Because if they didn't nail it, they wouldn't have done that.
Wow. I didn't know.
It is so true to the source.
Good.
It's the first one ever.
Good.
It's the first one ever.
My love or dislike of Last of Us aside, I hope this sets a pattern. I hope this makes movies like the new Mortal Kombat movie not fucking happen.
Well, I hope they just say to Ed Boon, like, how can we fix this?
Right. What should we do? I hope this makes new Resident Evil movies or shows that are true to the material.
The shows are decent. Like that animation that came out was decent.
I'm talking about the Netflix show.
That's canceled. That's gone.
Yeah, I'm saying in the future, I hope that there's better adaptations based off of this.
But if you want to argue, right, like that was the last video game show that came out, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So you have Resident Evil, which
it's between that or Halo, but yeah, exactly.
Right, or Halo, which both are arguably terrible.
Right.
They're getting destroyed on the internet. Mm-hmm. Nobody's watching season 2 of either of those shows.
No, absolutely not.
And then you have Last of Us, which people are going to, like, that's Game of Thrones level.
Wow, that's high praise.
Look at the advertising and shit. It's everywhere.
True. That's true.
So HBO is knocking it out of the park right now because you have House of Dragons.
Yeah.
But that's
Velma.
But the thing of it is, right, is that if you look at it, people go in for Last of Us, people go in for and Last of Us has all of the things that Velma has, right?
Sure.
Ellie is a lesbian.
Mm-hmm. A recognizable character in franchise.
But it's the message is the story.
Right.
Not here's a message and you sit and watch this.
And here's an unlikable character hate watching. Yeah. It's totally different delivery.
It is incredible. I'm so excited. It's just because I always had this thing in my head was like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just doesn't translate, and that's why they don't do it.
Sure.
Nope.
It translates perfectly fine.
I would argue it's almost better.
Really?
Just because it, when we were watching the game movie or whatever, it's a little choppy.
Sure.
Right? And again, that's kind of because there's a lot of gameplay that you have to cut out and stuff, but
right.
I can, that was my notes. My partner's like, I like it, but it's a little like things happen very quickly.
Sure.
Like, well, it's a game, right? Like you want to get back to the action.
Right,
there's a balance of game and story.
Yeah.
Where this is just buckle up.
Pure story.
Right,
you're
going to watch this.
Right.
So I would say if I'm Amazon, you better fucking look at The Last of Us and do justice to Kratos.
Good. Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's going to fucking tank.
Yeah, no, it's a good direction though. I think that video game adaptations are moving in a positive place. It's only
episode 1, so who knows? But
sure.
I have never seen something so true to the source. Never.
Huge.
So ending that on you gave me a little huge.
Yeah.
Ending that on a positive note. We'll put this one to bed. I feel good. I feel good talking about The Last of Us.
Yeah, I'm glad.
What do you got going on?
Well, I'm still working on my own little secret affairs. some videos I got to drop at some point or another, maybe another year or two, and then those will come out.
I know how fun it is to edit videos.
Yeah,
so.
don't worry about it. So, yeah, exactly.
Don't think about it.
I'll work on my secret projects in the meantime. And, you can follow me, Partially Proficient. I'm on TikTok, and that's about it for now, but we'll see what the future holds.
All right, rad. All right, Paul. Well, thanks for coming on as always.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You guys know where we're at. CatalystCrafting.com is the main website. I've been adding the products there now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What, you getting close to 550?
Yeah, getting up there on products. So there's tons of products. We have art prints, t-shirts, stickers, mugs, anything
whatever
you can
you
think
need.
of. Yeah, we make all sorts of cool shit.
Adventurer for Everyone shirt.
Yeah, check that out. Let Wizards of the Coast fucking know. But what do you guys think? I mean, are you watching Velma? Do you think it's a masterclass in storytelling? How do you feel about Andrew Callahan, Justin Rowland, Frost? Like, these people just doing these awful fucking things. Are you upset about the OGL? Did you know about the OGL? Do you think it's the right direction for Wizards of the Coast to be heading? And did you catch the first episode of The Last of Us? Because if you haven't, highly recommend it. All right, crew. Catch you on the next one.